Everybody was accomplished. There wasn't anybody that wasn't living in Beverly Hills then that wasn't accomplished, whatever realm. And I grew up with those ethics. You worked hard and you were supposed to be, you know, accomplish something. For women, you were still not so much was asked of you. Again, you were supposed to marry somebody successful. They were supposed to be accomplished. And you were supposed to, you know, behave yourself and breed. I mean, it wasn't the same kind of expectation. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be the child of a movie star today. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And it mostly, once in a while, mostly doesn't work out so well. And all the kids, like all the Marx Brothers kids I knew and went to school with, Dean Martin's kids, Lana Turner's daughter had to walk down that hallway in Beverly Hills High School right after she got out of the trial for killing Lana Turner's. That was a hard walk for that kid. So I was always observing. I was interested in everybody's family because I was always searching for to see what my family was so different, you know, and seeing other people's parents and people that really were loving to each other and were interested in their children and all of it. I just sucked it all in. So in that sense, I think I was just a born observer and a born novelist. I was just fascinated. I wasn't necessarily more fascinated with being in the house of a, you know, of one of the, you know, the Marx Brothers or something, than that. You were certainly aware that they were famous. You see them on television. But if they're walking down Rodeo Drive going to their, you know, their pediatrician, their internist or something, and, you know, and then it wasn't like, oh my God, there's so-and-so. But you kept they weren't interested in people that weren't in show business, really. So there were like two groups. There were the, you know, the hardworking, mostly first or second generation Jewish families that had done well and worked very hard and moving their kids. It was the best public school district in maybe in the country then, and it was all about that, you know, about elevating themselves and out of that. And it was, they were not necessarily friends with the movie people. My parents weren't interesting enough. But then later, when my father really made an enormous amount of money, and my mother died, he remarried. Then he started to give these big parties with all, I call them, and there's one scene in my Looking for Leo book called The Dead Movie Star Party. And my book, House in the Hamptons, had come out. I was getting a lot of publicity. I was doing everything from Vanity Fair to whatever. And he gave me a book party, which sounds lovely, only it didn't have anything to do with me. He was showing off for his friends. In a very fancy restaurant in Beverly Hills. And he had a pile. I just sat there and signed books like a robot, basically. But there were all these people I thought were dead. I mean, Virginia Mayo, Cesar Romero, Jean Crane, Ann Jeffries, who's still the single most beautiful woman I have ever seen. I went in the bathroom with her. She was already then probably, I don't know, late 60s or 70s, and she was just mesmerizing. I didn't think we were even in the same species. She was so beautiful. And so they all became, Danny Thomas was his best friend. I remember saying it once to one of my kids, something, well, you know, Danny Thomas was in, you know, who's Danny Thomas? I said, oh, that's right, you wouldn't know Danny Thomas. Marlo Thomas's father. Who's Marlo Thomas? You know, and you realize what the context is that generationally. Now I don't know the names. And when I realized that I had never seen the person that was on the cover of People magazine, I knew that there was a whole different world.